who these two bullies from, his days in regular high school, um, go up to him and they're like, uh, "What's up, Brian D?" Uh, and then okay, I don't remember exactly what they say, but they take away his XP that he on from like with like a thumb drive. They take it from like his backpack, and then he goes, "Oh, come on, Travis, I've been grinding that for months." And then he says like, "Oh, and I just got it in 15 seconds." I don't
It's
know.
such a 2012
Oh
bully
yeah,
thing to say.
oh yeah, he's got like and he's yeah. And then they both ride away, but then I don't know. This comes back one other time in the whole show. They get on their bike and then they start pedaling, and then the whole bike flies away. It's not like a futuristic like crazy world. They just have a flying bike, I guess. I don't know. They just can do that. Um,
What a
but
great way of
no.
selling. It's
Oh
like when
yeah,
you try to
no.
sell Community to me by showing one episode and you pick the one where they're filming a commercial, so I have no idea what's going on, and all the characters are playing characters that they don't normally play. And I'm just sitting there like, and you're just silently sitting there, and I just remember that when I finished, like, wait a minute, this is not at all what I thought it when I first started.
No. Okay, hold on. So then, uh, they go. Brian D goes inside, and he's running inside because he's late for a scrim, right? Because he plays this
Oh,
game
of
called
course,
Field
yeah,
of Fire, just kind of
that's like
casually
Call of
though with
Duty.
some friends. Yeah, it's like Call of Duty. It's like a little bit more like there's here and there. There's some things that are like there's like whoa, that's crazy, like the everyone looks like their actual character, and it
Well,
looks
that's
just like
crazy.
real life. It's pretty crazy. But you play on like mouse and keyboard, why not? And he's the team captain of these little underdog players, and so they're just playing like kind of casual games, I guess, with a kind of competitive edge to it. I don't really understand it completely, but that's not the important part. The important part is there's at the same time there's a show going on. I think it's called LOL or something like that. It's like no, it's the name of it isn't important. I assure you. And it's just there's a guest on it is Lawrence Pemberton. You don't learn his name
Okay.
for a long time in the show though. He's just known as the Law, and that's like his gamer tag, and he gets on the show and there's like these three women that are just totally they're the hosts and they're kind of like all over him, and um, he decides to like show off his skills, so he's gonna do what's called pub stomping, where you just go into a random pub game, and then for some reason I don't know why it does this. It changes every other person on the team to just the other team, every other person in the game to
Huh.
the other team. So it's just him versus everyone
Okay.
else. I don't know how he does that, but so he joins, and then
Amazing.
a voice cue plays, goes, "The Law has entered the game," and it just happens to be Brian D's game, right? But
Mm-hmm.
here's the deal, Brian D, he was just playing for just a moment there. He's playing with his team. He was starting to turn the tide in the other team, right? But then his mom yells, "Brian, get the cat!" So he's like, "Oh, real second, I gotta get the cat," and he runs off. And then they're like, "Guys, we gotta get a new team captain," and all this. But then, as he's getting the cat's name's Cheeto, and he's like bringing him outside and everything. Uh, that's when the law has entered the game, and then he goes around and everyone's like, "The law is here, everyone run for your lives!" And then he comes and he starts doing these sick trick shots, and he's got these two gold pistols and he's really cool. um and then eventually he's like doing this whole massacre of everyone else, and then he runs into Brian D and he's like, "Oh, this kid's AFK," and then he turns away from keyboard because he's with the three girls who don't know anything about video games. They're women. um
Mm-hmm.
and then he's
They don't know
like,
anything about video.
yeah, he's like, "I'll come
They
back
just
for
do a
you
show about
later."
it.
Exactly. Well, I think it's like a reality show, but whatever. Um, so anyway, eventually, like he kind of comes back to Brian D, and he like takes his sweet time. He puts a grenade on his head, and then he hears like the voice chat from Brian D. Goes, "Mom, where's the iodine?" Because he's yelling out. But he's like, "What?" He goes, "Whatever, kid." And then he steps away like 10 feet, and then he holds up the gun and he looks away, and he's like fumbling with the gun. He's about to shoot, but then Brian D, you see him, he's running back to his computer, But then there's a ding, there's a toaster oven goes off, and he goes and he grabs the hot pocket out of it. He goes hot 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 hot. He goes over back to his computer, and then he looks, and there's the law aiming the gun at him. He's got the grenade on his head, and he's about to shoot, and then he goes quick reaction, hits a button or two, I don't know, and then he backs up. The grenade falls off his head. He hits it with the butt of his gun. It goes right at the grenade, gets hit right to the law's feet, and then he gets down on his one leg and he just real quick shoots the grenade, and he got absolutely he got pwned. The law did. He got that's Peep the Replay right there, and
Wow.
yeah, and then he's like oh okay, that's great, that's over. He didn't know that was the law, and then the chat goes wild in the corner, and not he's not like live streaming, like the chat in the game, like the law killer, he killed the law. He's like what? Um, so anyway, yeah, he's like, Law's really embarrassed. One of the girls asks him like, "What do you call that move?" He got pwned, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah,
Right.
and
Of
then
course.
what else happens? No, and then uh, basically people like show up to his house. No, he gets sent. He gets sent, the replay gets sent like all over the news, right? The news goes everywhere. Like, look at this. Wow, I gotta follow. Anyway, there's
Wow.
like a bunch of they send the replay everywhere, right, on the news, and it interrupts like a big thing, like the president's been kidnapped. Breaking news! Look, check out this sick pwn's owners, and they're like, you see the law getting blown up, and then um you see like at a certain point Brian D gets sent this invitation to VGHS, and
Ooh.
yeah, and no, things get wild. It's called the Golden Gun Grant. So he's like full ride scholarship all through it. Um,
We're killing him one time.
yeah, exactly. And then at the end of the episode, he kisses his mom on the head. I didn't mention this. Brian's mom, she's an MMO addict, is what they call her in the show. So
Oh,
she's very just glued to the TV, always looking and playing her game, and she has like a helmet on that has like drinks in it, like the SpongeBob thing. And
oh
she's
yeah.
like, yeah. And then as Brian's leaving, he goes, I filled your bowl with your favorite food or something like that." And then he walks away, and that's like the first episode there. Oh, and as he opens the door, there's like the flash of cameras, like yeah, his newfound like fame here.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's it. Very interesting.
yeah. And for the first episode, it's like a good piece of media. I'll say that, but it's not a good representation of what the rest of the show is. Anyway, hi
Mm.
Christy boy claps.